All right, joining us now in studio. It's been hard to track him down, but we finally did it the Friday of Memorial Day weekend. I don't know why, man. It's not like he does anything. Going into his senior year at Shin High School, Kevin Huerter. What's up, Kevin? How you doing, man?
How's it going? I'm doing pretty good.
It's all good. And, dude, you have been blowing up in the last 2 months. So, obviously, you play guard for the Shin basketball team. You also play baseball as well, right?
I do.
Holy
for
smokes. What do you do for baseball position?
I play center field a little bit, and I pitch a little bit.
Okay.
I was going to say, at your height, you're probably a nasty pitcher. Yeah. Like, nobody wants to see that thing coming down at him, right?
Hopefully not, no.
What's your pitch? What's your best pitch?
Fastball. It's got to be fastball. I throw, mid-80s around there, and then I try to throw in a couple off speed, but mainly fastball.
Nice.
Just try to smoke them right off the plate and be done with it.
Exactly.
Nice.
Now, how do you balance the two between basketball? Because your AAU season over the last 2 months, you have blown up, man. You have gotten a lot of offers in over the last 2 months. How do you balance that and baseball?
Well, baseball is usually right after school, so it's kind of nice. You go right out to practice right after school day ends, and then basketball is usually later at night. And then for AAU, we go away on the weekends. We don't practice a lot. And if we do, it's only with local guys later at night. And, Coach Christodoulou has been really understanding with my AAU schedule. And so he's allowed me to go to these tournaments. And then when I come back, I'm able to jump right back into it.
So this is the longest, while you're in here, that you've not had a ball of some variety in your hand.
I guess so, yeah.
Basketball, baseball, I mean, what else? Come on, how do you juggle, a little personal life? You're a high school guy. How do you have fun?
There's time for that. Last weekend and the week before that, those have been 2 weeks I've been home. So it's been really nice, finally finding a time to go out with friends, like you said. But, during the weekdays, there's no time for that. You're going right from baseball to basketball, then you got homework, and then the whole recruiting thing, and you still got to eat and shower and do all that. So there can be late nights, and then obviously the weekends are really busy when you go away, and then you still have baseball games. So it gets really busy. So any time in between that and in school during the day, that's really my social life.
Plenty of time to have fun in the NBA offseason is what you're telling me.
Well, I like that you and I asking Kevin all these questions, and we don't even bring up school, and he's like, well, yeah, and I also have time to do homework. Oh, yeah, because that's exactly what we meant, Kevin. We just want the youth of America to know that academics come first. That's what we meant. That's what we meant to say. Academics are number one. How do you do everything else? That's exactly what we meant. Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. Talking to Shin basketball star Kevin Huerter going into his senior season, about to end his junior year. And Kevin, you've been playing AAU ball. How many basketball offers do you have now?
I would say around, I think, 15.
15?
Yeah.
That's crazy. How do you keep up with it?
I got a list on my phone, but, usually I have coaches texting me every day, so I'm able to respond to them and keep them in my head.
15 offers now, around 15. How many did you have 2 months ago before AAU began?
Three.
So you got a dozen offers in like a month and a half.
Yep.
How has that been, man? What's that like to be wanted by that many schools in such a short? I mean, you've been playing basketball your whole life. In such a short amount of time, now you get noticed. What is that feeling like?
It feels amazing. I think it was about a month and a half ago we went to Boo Williams maybe, and those couple days after that were just crazy. And it was really cool to hear from all these guys that you see on TV all the time, and your friends in school always talk about, and you dream of talking to these guys, and then you're talking to them on the phone the next day. So that's been really cool, and it's been really busy, and at times stressful, but I'm happy that it's happening to me, and I know that there's not a lot of kids who this happened to in the country, so I'm obviously blessed and honored that it's happening.
Who has been that individual in your life? I know your dad played locally here for Siena. Who's your dad, Tom Huerter, of course, in studio with us today as well. Who's been that person in your life that has affected you and been your biggest influence when it comes to the game of basketball?
Definitely my father.
Yeah.
Definitely. For as long as I can remember, he's always been in the gym with me, trying to get in there as often as we can, and even times I didn't want to. He was always pushing me, saying, we got to go in the gym today, make sure we go get some shots up. And he's never pushed me to do something. He's trying to say, or trying to get me to like a sport on my own. But, in those sports, he just tells me you got to work hard at it if you want to be good. But, wherever I go, wherever my college decision, he's going to make sure it's my decision.
So what you're saying is once you said, all right, I want to be great at basketball, that's when Dad stepped in and went, I'm going to help you get there.
Exactly.
That's cool. Now, I'm sure you're being recruited by the local schools, right? Siena and UAlbany?
I am.
I'm sure you know Jimmy Patsos. He's normally so shy and quiet. I'm sure you haven't heard from him at all, right?
No, definitely not. I think the last time I saw him in person was at the News Channel 13 All-Star interview, or the dinner we had that night, and
Yeah.
he's obviously very talkative, like he always is.
Are even his text messages loud? Like when you just feel like they're loud, like he's yelling?
No exclamation points or big letters, but he's usually as normal as he can be on the text messages, I guess.
So your interest level in staying local, because now obviously within the last month or two, now you have the opportunity to go play all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
The odds that you stay local and play here in the Albany area, are those big, or would you rather go out there and go to a bigger school outside of the area?
Staying local is still a possibility, but I don't think it's as big of a disadvantage for those long distance schools that would be recruiting guys like me in upstate New York. I've heard from people out in Texas, and they're asking me, would distance be a factor? But with all these big time conferences, that almost every game they play is on TV. So it won't be like my parents or my coaches or anyone close to me would never get to see me play. And they're easy flights. They're 2-hour flights, most of them direct. So staying local would be great. They could go to every single game. And get to see me as much as they can, but going long distance also isn't as big of a factor as it used to be because every single game is televised.
How important is it to you to, narrow down the selection, get closer to making your selection? Like at this point, is it just I'm going to wait and see what comes in, I'm going to let everything play out, or do you have a timetable set for yourself when you're going to kind of decide where you're going to go?
Right now, I think I'm just taking in everything. I'm taking all the offers, listening to all these coaches, and looking them up online and doing my research and seeing what type of system they all run. So in the next coming weeks, I can start to look at what schools I want to visit unofficially, and then in the summer start to look at schools I may want to look at and go back and visit officially in the fall. And then I think we're looking at a timetable possibly the fall to make a decision. But obviously, if I go to a campus and I love it right away, there's no saying that I'm not going to commit there. But right now, I think I'm looking anytime next fall to make a decision.
And Kevin, your high school coach, Tony DeZikas at Shin as well. Levack's a big fan of his.
Did you pick up any fashion tips from Coach McConaughey? I mean, DeZikas. He came in here and he came in here with the white shirt. The hair was perfect. I think his nails were done. I'm not going to lie to you.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Right. Did he? I mean, he's a fashionable guy.
Yeah,
dress like him. Is he going to dress you for all your unofficial visits?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. He's very fashionable. You don't really know what he's going to wear one day. I think one day in practice, he was wearing 2 different types of shoes. He has his 2 different shoes. Yeah, real story. Every day he'll come in with a blue hat on, sunglasses, but then he'll be wearing a scarf in the middle of the summer. Okay, coach. And then he has 2 different types of shoes on, and then he'll wear a tank top one day, then wear a sweatshirt the next. You don't really know what he's going to walk in with.
Wow. Of course, Coach Tony DeZikas at Shin. You guys won the state title this year. What has he taught you? What have you learned growing up in his program?
I've learned a lot. Coach DeZikas is, I know I'm biased, I've only gone to one high school, but he's, I think, the hardest working coach around here. I've said it before, he takes 2 weeks off in a year. He takes a week off before the season, a week off after the season. He's in the gym every single day. I still see him 4 or 5 times a week at our open gyms. Even during the season, he is us, obviously, we're undefeated, but then on the side, he's also coaching his younger son, Devin. So at the same time, he's also coaching his travel team. So his team would come in after our practices and he'd be at the gym from 5:15 to pretty much 10 o'clock during the weekdays. And so that's the type of guy he is. He's always willing to get his players in the gym. I could text him on a Sunday afternoon. I know he doesn't golf, but he'd be on the golf course. He'd come off just to open up the gym for me, set up the shooting machines, and make sure I get a good workout in. And he's always bringing in guys like Steve D'Agostino, making sure everyone is getting their work in and everyone's getting better every single day.
Very cool, man. Shin basketball star Kevin Huerter in studio. Wanted to ask you real quick, too, about Maryland. Had a tidbit to make sure to bring up the University of Maryland. Have they been hot on your heels on the recruiting trail?
They have. They actually came for an in-home visit about a month ago, and so I met Coach Turgeon, and Coach Clark was with them, and they're a great school. Obviously, they have the big Under Armour sponsorship, and I think next year they're already saying they're going to open up as the preseason #1. They have a lot of guys returning, a lot of talent, and they're a great program, and someone who's been on me ever since the first tournament at Boo Williams.
Beautiful. And like you said, you're going to go check out them on Unofficial pretty soon?
Yep.
Beautiful. Shin basketball star Kevin Huerter in studio, about to finish his junior year and be a senior next year. And Kevin, I got to tell you this, man. And Levack and I, we talked to a bunch of recruiting analysts and high school analysts, both local and nationally, and the things that are said about you and your team and your program, but you specifically is just your maturity. How much you got it together. And so, look, man, thanks for representing the Capital Region the great way that you do. And part of the reason why we've been driving you nuts trying to find a half second to get you in the studio is because we know you're going to be a star and we know you're going to be something big, and we think it's really cool that this is happening right here in the Capital Region, and we want to let you know that we appreciate you, man. Keep kicking butt. You're making all of us proud, and we'll keep following you on Rivals, I guess, man, because you're blowing up, baby.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it, and thank you for having me.